Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, before going into what the ANC intend to do with people's pension funds, let me give you a bit of a prediction about this election that's happening on the 8th of May. Now, if you go back to 2016, when they had the presidential election in America, and all the mainstream media pundits were suggesting that there was a 95% chance that Hillary Clinton would get in. Remember that? And we know what happened. Donald Trump romped him with well over the number of points that he needed. Now, what the mainstream media totally ignored was his popularity at all these different rallies he went to. Tens of thousands of Americans would turn up, while Hillary Clinton would have it in a library with about 100 of her closest mates, and she would give this sort of speech, and there was no comparison in the actual campaigns they ran. And this is my point. My point is, you look at the ANC's campaigning leading up to this election, and you look at the EFF's campaigning. And the ANC's is very, very dour, whereas, love him or hate him, Julius Malema has certainly got the people in the crowds jumping up and down with excitement. So I think that's the first thing. I think there could be a huge shock in the election on the 8th of May. And let's just hope that the EFF and their crazy CIC, Commander-in-Chief, the Honorable Malema, don't get enough seats to be able to form government with another one of the parties. That could be the worst possible outcome. And in that event, I can assure you that what Simon Roche was talking about yesterday, with the rand being 60 rand to the dollar, would be a given. The rand will just plummet. It'll just completely collapse. Now, let's say that the ANC do retain power. There's a very interesting article that's come out, and it's about how the ANC are going to fund future projects. And we have touched on this before, and it involves, if you've got a pension fund, it involves you. I'll tell you why. South African banks should be forced to invest in new coal mines in the country, the ANC's head of economic transformation has said. Nedbank and Standard Bank have said they are not going to put money in coal and more. Enoch Gedongwana said in an interview on Carte Blanche, "To me, that is an invitation for prescribed assets," he said in a reference to the party's investigation on whether to force pension funds to invest in development projects. And they can do that. They can force the guys who run these pension funds to actually start putting money into places like Eskom, where it just, as you know, it just goes down a big black hole, and basically your pension fund dries up. While Standard Bank and Nedbank, two of the country's biggest lenders, have said they won't invest in coal for environmental reasons, South Africa is highly reliant on the fuel for power generation. South Africa has 66 billion metric tons of coal reserves, according to Godongwana. Eskom had said new mines aren't being opened quickly enough to ensure supply for its power plants. Now, let's remember that Eskom expert, the white fella, Tom, I've forgotten what his surname is, but he said that years ago Eskom were promising to open up coal mines and they never did. Now they're pointing the bone at someone else. Aren't they good? Fuck a money! Yeah, that's right. Okay. Godongwana said, "Who determines policy? A government of the day? You can't therefore have individuals determine what is the policy of the country. A move towards prescribed assets while mentioned in the ANC's election manifesto, would concern international investors and could destabilize South Africa's 4 trillion rand pension industry. Most investors and local business leaders appear to think that prescribed assets will never end up happening, said Peter Attard-Montalto, head of capital markets research at Intellidex. This interview seems to be suggesting otherwise, and in a surprisingly specific way on coal. So there you go. It looks like post-election they're going to bring out a policy to force pension funds in South Africa to invest in new projects, which will just continue being corrupt. So it's not going to be a great investment. Now, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed and ring the bell. There's two little things on either side so you get all the updates, and have a great evening.